And here we go. Mina, would you like to begin? Yeah.
Yeah. Hello. Selamat malam semuanya. Greetings to everyone joining this live talk show. I'm with these two awesome gentlemen, Dr. Eric Westman from Durham, North Carolina, United States, and Mastio Prasetyo from Jakarta, Indonesia. Dr. Eric Westman is Associate Professor of Medicine at Duke University and Director of the Duke Lifestyle Medicine Clinic, writing journals and so many books in health, speaking in so many conferences, including the one that held in Jakarta in April 2019. And hi, Eric.
Hi, how are you today?
Fine, very spirited because of you are with us. And next, I will call Mastio Prasetyo. Mastio is the founder of Keto Indonesia, a huge community of low carb and fasting in Indonesia. Speaking in low carb and fasting, with his extraordinary in digging into physiology and biomolecule, organizing Indonesian International Low Carb Conference in 2019, and it was the first of its kind in Indonesia, accredited by Indonesian Medical Doctors Association. In this event, Eric is one of the speakers, as I mentioned. And hi, Mastio.
Hi, Mbak Mina.
We have Eric too.
Hello, hi Eric.
Hello.
Glad to see you again after we
you.
met on Indonesia International Low Carb Conference. Glad you like the batik that I gave you. I really want to send you some of my batik collection, but I don't know how to send it. Perhaps someday you have to give me your address, and I will find a way to send it some of batik collections. I love batik. I hope you like it too.
You know, the batik shirts were so nice. My nephew, who loves shirts and clothing, took it from me. I was at a no, it was good. So the colored one I gave because he loved the shirt so much. But they are wonderful. Thank you. And I had a wonderful time in Indonesia, and it's just, I'm really glad to be able to talk to you today.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm very grateful that you give us a chance to interview with you and to ask you many things about keto and how you do it for the last 20 years. And also, I'm very thanking for the selfie video that you have sent to me for Keto Fatosis anniversary. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
2 years flies very fast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is very interesting actually to see your journey, especially from your book, Eric. Say from the book of New Atkins for You, and then now end of your carb confusion. Congratulations for the new books, right?
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
can you tell us what has changed in those
Right.
books,
Well,
and why?
Well, you know, the keto diet is very effective, and we've been studying it at Duke University for 20 years now, and I've been using it in my clinical program with people with all sorts of medical problems, and I'm very comfortable teaching and helping people with the keto diet. I'm most known for that in the research world, but the keto diet is not the only way to be healthy. So the End Your Carb Confusion book also incorporates other research that says that it's healthy for some people to eat more carbs. It's just you have to match the diet with the metabolism of the person. So that's that new book, End Your Carb Confusion. It may surprise you. It's not just a keto book. But the New Atkins for a New You, I'm an author on that book, and it has a similar approach with just different language. So the New Atkins says always start at the 20 gram. The New Atkins says use 20 net carbs, and the major difference in our book and what the science says, I believe the best science is we use not everyone has to start at 20 grams or below, and we use total carbs, not net carbs. So if you're in the keto world, you know this language. If you're not in the keto world yet, net carbs is when you subtract out the fiber grams and the sugar alcohols. And I find that doesn't work for everyone. But if you use total carbs, it will work. It's more like the prescription strength of a drug, for example.
Exactly.
It's not that net carbs is bad or wrong. I mean, I still stand behind the New Atkins book. But what we've learned is that total carbs is more accurate, more precise, and there's less guesswork in it. The other big thing we're working on and we've launched is a digital teaching academy called Adapt Your Life Academy. And the class we have right now teaches the Keto Made Simple program, and that is only keto. But the book is addressing more carb levels, if you will, different phases we call them, and it's more complicated. But I think all of these will be helpful for individuals. It's all very written very plainly and clearly, not a lot of doctor language, and we're really trying to get the word out as much as possible to people themselves.
So it's like addressing more general audience, not just focusing on the keto, but focusing on the how to manage the carbs intake, right?
Right. Yes. Well, I'm sure you've noticed, and other people have noticed that some people can eat carbohydrates and be healthy. I mean, I have a brother who is able to eat carbohydrates. He eats fruit every day, and of course, he does eat fish and meat and poultry and eggs, but it depends on the metabolism. Some people can eat more carbohydrates, but from my work as a doctor, almost all the people who come to me with diabetes, high blood pressure, all of these obesity, these people need the keto level. So I'm still very comfortable teaching the keto diet and using it for really just about anyone these days. I mean, it's been 20 years now, and I've heard all of the same myths and same criticisms for 20 years, and they haven't materialized.
Talking on your very lengthy experience of 20 years facing all the criticism, speaking of keto nowadays, there are so many information about keto, easy to find everywhere, so many interpretation and perception, creating not just firm understanding, but also many myths. And that's why we take this theme, debunking keto myth and doing keto the right way, right?
Too many myths.
With having so many information, too many myths. Yeah. With having so many information everywhere, how can we know which one is correct scientifically? What is your tips?
Well, you want to have a trusted source of information. And I think the basic of nutrition, the most important thing, if you do any diet, is not keto or fat. The most important thing that our bodies need is protein. So it may surprise you that, I'm not you too, but generally when I teach a keto diet, I teach about protein first, not keto and products and drinking oils and things like that. So today, what I see in the US is there are people who are selling things, putting butter in coffee or my gummy bear with keto or apple cider vinegar or some gimmick, a product to sell you. And they say that's what keto is. No, I think keto starts with the basic understanding that protein is the most important food that you have to eat. And then understanding that carbohydrate is not important. You can live.
Essential.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so you want to know that you're getting the information from a credible or reputable place. And, our books are credible and reputable. I think the Ketofastosis group is a reputable place because you're following the science as well. But be careful about people selling their keto products and saying that that's all you need, because that's not good enough.
Yeah. May I add too? Okay.
Lucky we know. Yeah.
Okay. So for me, the first time, perhaps I'm not starting with keto first at the beginning, because as Eric, I have tell my story to Eric that I started this keto with a physiology basis, because I want to heal my son, which have the problem in his myelin. Remember, Eric?
Yes.
The doctor said that my son have a low level of myelin in his left ventricle. So only because the word of myelin, I found that it comes from cholesterol. So, but the problem is cholesterol cannot cross the blood-brain barrier. So, what is the missing link here? Why baby got why every baby in the world born with baby fat, but why cannot the brain recognize the fat, which is necessary to make myelin, for instance, right?
Yes.
So the basic, I learned from the basic physiology that ketosis is normal. Ketosis is very normal, especially from the ancestral perspective, because like nowadays everyone can choose any diet and buy the food that they want, then and eat according to the diet, right? But millions of years ago, people are looking for food. They still need time to search for the food. They need to be able to access their own body fat, their own fuel tank, right? That's very basic. But only one organ in our body that cannot directly recognize the fuel tank, which is the body fat. It's because of the blood-brain barrier, because of that basic principle of physiology. I learned that ketosis is a very basic metabolism for human being if they want to survive in the wild. The key is in the wild, not now. If you have to search for your own food, you have to be able to access your own body fat as a tank. So that's why having ketone in the blood, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with ketosis. It's just make you a fat burning mode. That's it. What people always say that be careful of ketoacidosis, be careful, ketone is dangerous. Why? Ketone is how our brain can recognize the body fat. That's simple. That's a very simple physiology. It's funny if our brain cannot, that our body cannot allow our brain to access the body fat, although it had to be converted first in the liver. So it's just funny if they say that ketosis is dangerous and blah blah blah. Even I use it for my own son since he was starting eating at about 1 year. He never eat carbs until now, 12 years old. Nothing wrong. He's doing fine. I'm doing this for my son at the beginning before I make the ketofastosis group. I'm doing this because I learned about it, and I really have to make sure that ketosis is fine because I'm doing it for my son, not for me. So for everyone that think ketosis is something wrong, something dangerous with that just so wrong. They cannot see it from the ancestral perspective that in human timeline, we need to be able to access our own body fat. Not like now. You can just push energy source like glucose for your energy. But it's not like that in the wild. It's not just that simple. Okay, sorry. Go on.
Okay. Okay. So first thing is look for the credible sources, trusted one, and we are lucky we know you. We know you quite long. Your track record has been there everywhere. People can easily search. But if we find on something that we don't know who is the author, then probably we have to use the approach that was explained by Mastio, like, from the ancestral point of view, evolution point of view, those things, because that is the proof that we have been living on since the beginning of the human being till today, right? But talking about the evolution, not just living things evolve, but nature condition change too. Some says that nutrient level has changed in comparison to ancestral time. And the soil richness that grows the plant change. So the animal that feed from that food chain also change. I mean the nutrient level. Hence, referring to ancestral meat may not be relevant anymore and can put you in the risk of inadequacy of certain nutrient. What do you think about that?
Oh, I like, Mastio, I like your description of ketosis being normal and healthy when you look at it in the big picture from the ancestral view, and fish and seafood being probably the healthiest, which makes a country like Indonesia perfect, was such access to fish and seafood. The nutrition argument about changing nutrition and all that, I don't really fully think that that's important. I think there's a lot of, how should I say, fear put out there because people want you to buy their products and get their nutrition supplements and things like that. I'm a believer that real food, as close to nature as you can get it, is going to give you all the nutrition that you need. I suppose if you were inland in some area of the US, for example, which has no ocean around it, it's all land, I suppose you might have issues about that. But we get food from so many different places now, and I'm not worried about nutritional deficiency when someone eats real food in a keto way. So I don't think that's a big issue, really. And I see Mina's coming back in just a moment. It's coming back in and out. Yeah, so I don't think that's a big problem, or a problem at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so
me too.
you are saying that
it's not a really big
yeah.
problem.
So you are saying that we don't need to be worried about that, because nature will be very fair to everyone who live in it, right? And provide the food for whoever needs that food in the food chain, right?
Yes. You know, there's a theme.
Next, doing keto.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can Eric,
Go ahead.
Eric add first? Eric,
Yes.
you
Well,
saying?
One of the things that, from a big picture view, like the ancestral eating, I look at nutrition now more as taking away the bad foods. You take away sugar, you take away starch, your body can heal itself.
Exactly.
Instead of the mindset that I must have this, I must eat, I must have that. It's no.
Exactly.
Let your body heal. Let the ketones go to the brain to make the myelin. You know, there's such wisdom if we take away the bad foods.
Yeah. Can I add it, Mina? Can I add it also?
Yeah, please.
So I always look at the physiology level. I always think anything. I always think like an engineer. I always think at physiological level. What are we? We are human, right? Yeah. What are we? Are we in the plant kingdom or the animal kingdom? We are in the animal kingdom, only with the bigger brain. Yeah, that's simple. Okay, so what are the animals using? How their heart pumping? How their liver works? It's almost the same with us, the animal kingdom. Anything that they need, the nutrients, they must need it. They must get it from the plants. And as easily as I say, if you eat anything that walks, if you eat anything that swims, if you eat anything that flies, you get all the nutrients you need. Because that's how the physiology works. It's like, I'm sorry, Eric, this is just a joke. If I ate Eric, if Eric is healthy and I ate Eric, I get all his nutrients, right? That's simple. I don't have to worry things. Oh, am I going to miss any nutrients if I eat something that walks? No, we are in animal kingdom. That simply because it's not fair. Is everyone have to know the basic macro and micronutrients?
Yeah.
Now
Right.
they can healthy. No, people live in the wild. They don't have knowledge for this, right? They only eat what they think is palatable to their taste. That's the basic human. Humans God already gave us a sensor on our body to find our food, to find our need, to find our nutrients. So how the primitive mind works, they only use their tongue as the palatable. They only use their sensory to find their food. That's simple. They don't need to know that. And guess what? Guess what you're going to find in the wild? What are people million years ago or in the Stone Age perhaps eat? We don't know, but we can see. What are they painting in the cave? What are most cave painting looks like? What are they drawing? Why they are so interested in animals? Just look at the anthropology and look at how people see what they should eat without knowledge, just like our children. Look what they're going to pick in the dining, in the dinner. What they choose. That our children is like people with a primitive mind that don't know anything. Look what they choose. That's the basic human instinct. They will grab fish, veggies, meat. See how the basic instinct works. That's how human get their nutrient. That's simple and easy. So even now we have an advanced knowledge, we cannot deny that people are born to know how know naturally how to choose their nutrient. And they will get their nutrient only by palatable. What is palatable in the wild? You're going to chew leaves? I don't think children like leaves, right? Are you going to kill something that walks and just with simple cooking, only like firing? How does it taste? Does it taste great? Although we have many ingredients today, but even a simple eating of animal without thinking macros, we don't have to. Oh, I need to eat more fat. I need to eat more protein. They don't count that. They don't count calories. They just ate it. Real food.
Yeah.
That's
and
the basic. Yeah.
And when you do that, you're in ketosis.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, you have a great way of explaining it. I love that. I totally agree.
Yeah, because everybody always think the complexity of modern life, and when we need there's so many information that you're going to miss these nutrients. There's going to miss it. You need this, you need that. Oh my God. I want to make ketosis is just a physiology, and our way of eating is just a lifestyle. Don't get stressed over it. Just eat.
Recently in my clinic, we have such bounty. We have so many things today, and this one person came to me worried about the blood level of something, and he was taking 20 20 different nutritional supplements. 20. So it was like 40 pills a day of these nutrition. And I looked at them and I just said, I don't know what to do. Why don't you get your nutrition from real food and not worry about these supplements? So I understand people get into these strange, you must have this, you're deficient, doctors make you afraid. The doctors makes you afraid of the cholesterol and the sugar. And no. Just go back to the basics of eating real food. I totally agree.
You're going to really amaze.
We'll come back on that.
Today in Indonesia,
We'll come
even in my group,
back on that.
Sorry, just a moment. Just people, even in keto, they're starting to get food anxiety. They're afraid that I don't eat enough. I don't eat the right nutrients. They get food anxiety.
Yeah.
So I just believe your own satiety. Just eat when you're hungry and stop when you're satiated. That's the basic of human instinct. That's simple. Just make sure you don't have a very high stress level, because stress level can blur the satiety level. Just make sure you have a good sleep. Then eat when you're hungry. Then stop when you're satiated. It's really that simple. But so many people are getting anxious about their food. I don't know how to explain. Perhaps you can make them more calm about food. How simple is food supposed to be?
Yes, you will. The science says, and it's clinical, meaning it's human science, nutrition, says you get all of the nutrition you need when you eat the real foods of other mammals that walk, that fly, that swim. And so don't worry about being nutritionally deficient if you don't have fruit. So, for example, some people come to me, but I need fruit for the vitamin C. No, there's plenty of vitamin C and the other food.
Exactly that.
And then people will say, but I need my plants for the fiber. It's like, well, no, actually, there's plenty of fiber in the other foods. And so, again, people are selling products or selling ideas that just aren't getting the big picture view. So please don't worry about nutritional deficiency if you're eating real foods and that's what you call keto. Yeah.
This is a saying from a man who done this for 20 years. I don't know if anyone doesn't believe him. This is a saying from a man that has done this for 20 years. He just eat real food, and you feel great, right? You have any issue with eating real food for 20 years?
Well, it's interesting. I learned from doctors who had used it for 30 years before me. So really, there's now a 50-year history of doctors using this, and I had maybe 20 pounds extra to lose. And I saw a patient do this. That's how I got curious. You had your son to medical issue. I had my patients, and they were doing this, but I presented research on it, and nobody believed the research. So I thought, well, maybe if I follow the diet, and then I'm at the podium, I gave a presentation. The first question is, well, but you have to eat carbohydrates or you'll die. And I said, well, I just presented you research that shows that that's not true. So the human side of it is fascinating, because then I learned that if I wasn't eating carbohydrates myself, and I went to the meeting, I presented the data, the question was, but you need to eat carbohydrates. And then I said, well, I don't. So I started doing this really to help other people understand the research, because there was this blinder that, well, that's research, it doesn't apply to people. I said, well, no, actually. So I haven't eaten carbohydrates much for 20 years. And as you know, we get plenty of nutrition from the other foods. You don't need to eat fruit. You don't need to eat, they're delicious, and they make you want to eat even more, which is another issue. But so this is great nutrition. Science is settled. It's called settled science, meaning it's been studied over and over and over and over. There's no debate about it.
Yeah, I know that there's no debate that there is no essential carbs, right? There is no essential carbs. You won't die if you don't eat carbs. It's a
Right. So
basic science, right? Basic physiology, right? I don't know why people always worrying because they need certain amount of carbs in order to stay healthy. I don't know how the
I think
physiology is explained.
it's because that's all we know. So
Yeah.
I remember when I first traveled to a country where they drove on the left-hand side of the road, I was very scared. It feels wrong.
Yeah.
So when you're used to a certain way of doing it, and I refused to drive because I was afraid I would get into an accident. But after a while, you get used to it, and that's the way
Yeah.
But there's an initial reaction that's emotional and like life protecting.
Okay.
I'm protecting myself because I don't want to go over the middle line, but I'm on the wrong side, and so we have that in our emotional, what we're comfortable with, and so you just need to hear it over and over, or try it for a day or two. The hunger goes away. People start saying, that what you told me was true, and
Yeah.
of course it was.
That's what I always say to my members, that just let your body telling the truth. Just try for 3 to 4 weeks, at least 3 to 4 weeks consistently. Don't eat any carbs for 3 to 4 weeks. Then you decide again. You want to move on or not? It's up to you. Just let it try, let it adapt for 3 4 weeks, and I want to know, is the craving still there? What your body is telling. Just be true to yourself. Don't ask yourself in front of donuts, in front of donut store. Ask yourself in your room every morning. Just close your eyes. Is this the right way of eating? Ask yourself, not in front of the donuts, not in front of the pizzas. No, ask yourself, what's your body like after 3 to 4 weeks trying this? Stop eating carbs.
Well,
Whatever your body says, just use it.
I use that as I also use that 2 week, if for anything, if you try something and it's not working for what in weight loss is what most people are fixing, diabetes is what most people see me for. If you do a program and in 2 weeks it's not working, it's the wrong program. And so try a new one. Eventually they're going to come to keto because it pretty much always works. So don't tolerate something that doesn't work. And I love that a lot of engineers like yourself like the keto diet because it works. I mean, if you're an engineer and you're told to build a bridge, you can't pretend to build a bridge. You have to build the bridge.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
The nutrition world,
true.
For some reason we can get away with saying things that aren't true and that don't work and all. But in your own experience, every individual, if what you're doing isn't working in 2 weeks, it's not the right thing for you.
Yeah, I know because I learned that by myself. That's why because at the first time I'm doing this for my son, I need to know at the very basic level of human biology system. Even I learn anything, I learn from neurology, I learn endocrine, I learn about how the body works, how the system coordinates. Even I learn about the autonomous nervous system, everything that coordinates. I need to know what's going to happen if you don't eat carbs, how the body, what in the molecular level the cell use. Okay, glucose is still important. Eric said that there is no carbs essential. There is no essential carbs, right? Okay, but
Essential.
glucose is still essential in the body. The glucose is still essential because if we want to grow, we need glucose. The glycolysis, the glycolysis pathway is needed for every cell that grow, right? But you don't have to put the glucose to your mouth.
Right.
The body can make it glucose when you don't eat carbs. The body going to make the glucose by demand. When you demand it, when you need it, not like, but our child need glucose to grow. True, even if you do weightlifting, you want to like Glenn, Glenn is I see that Glenn is doing a lot of workout, right? Glenn is like a fitness mania. I see his profile pic. So, like Glenn, if Glenn want to add more muscle, how the muscle grow? With glucose. So do you have to eat glucose? No, because
Right.
without carbs is only giving glucose to your body. Why Eric said that there is no such thing as essential carbs? Why? Because you don't have to get glucose directly from carbs or starch. You can get it like from what? From our body fat. Our own body fat store glucose substrate, which is glycerol. That's the one that binds the fatty acid, means triacylglycerol or triglyceride, right? Or you can, all the protein you eat, you always get glucogenic amino acid. That's simple. You always eat a precursor of glucose. That's why you don't need to eat the glucose directly. That's right. Why there is no such thing as essential carbs for human, but there is essential glucose level in the body. And
right.
when you still eating protein and fat, I mean eating real food, you get glucose substrate. That's simple. You won't get glucose deficient for growth. That's simple, right? It's physiology, right? Why the nutrition world is so confused with this? I don't know.
Yeah. The term essential, it's important to explain that for some people. An essential nutrient means you have to eat it or drink it. Your body can't make it. So one of the first things I had to learn as a scientist and as a nutritionist is to understand, if I take away the carbohydrate, the sugars and starches from someone, will they be okay? So is carbohydrate essential? And it turns out that it's well established that it's not essential. You don't have to eat carbohydrates, but our systems of teaching nutrition never taught that. So our dietitians and people who go through medical training have not been taught that carbohydrate is not needed, not essential. So we have a training deficiency. It's not a nutritional. It's a training problem. We don't teach people the foundation correctly, but we're doing that now. I mean, that's an area that we're filling in educationally about what is proper nutrition. Protein comes first. You need fats. You don't need carbohydrates. You don't need to eat them or drink them.
Because that's only 20. Sorry, that you need essential amino acid. There are essential amino acid. There are essential fatty acid, but there is no such thing as essential glucose.
That's right.
Glucose. That's what is mean with glucose. That means you don't have to eat anything that gives you glucose directly, but you need to eat anything that gives you the precursor, a substrate for glucose, for making glucose. That's why we have gluconeogenesis. The basic in I don't know. I don't go to medical school, but I think the one that every doctor must remember, we can make our own glucose. That's simple. If they don't remember this, they're still going to afraid. They're going sad if they don't eat carbs, because we need glucose. But most of them forget what gluconeogenesis is.
Yes. Well, I have to say, excuse me for interrupting, but you speak and like you're smarter than most doctors. Meaning, most doctors, maybe we learned biochemistry as a first year student, but most doctors forget that and don't use the biochemistry every day. So this is where another education problem is. We haven't taught our doctors the basics of how to use their biochemistry and physiology, and we haven't taught them proper nutrition in medical school. And so if you're an individual seeking knowledge, your doctor might not know as much as people. Well, I know they don't know as much as you, Tio, in terms of keto, but what I can validate and say what you're saying is real. It's true. It's biochemistry. It's physiology, and you are a trusted source.
Yeah, but they need to hear it from you because you're the professor and you have done this from 20 years. Who's going to trust an engineer who doesn't have medical background? I only learn it by myself, just only for my son. So why they have to trust me? Okay, if you don't trust me, you don't need to hear physiology from me. Let's hear it, Eric.
In this area, I don't know if it's true in engineering, but in the medical world, things don't change necessarily from reading a paper, and it's following people. So even in the medical world, there are medical leaders who the other doctors follow, and because there's so much information to know. So I am one of those keto medical leaders. In 2018 and 19, I traveled to 8 different countries to teach this. And so we're doing our best. We're writing textbooks. We're trying to train and educate as much as we can. But you are what we call a lay leader, or non-medical leader, and that's how the world changes. I wish it wasn't. So it's very different than engineering, where you have a new way of building a bridge. It has to work. No, medicine and the medical world changes by following people, which is interesting. It's called the art of medicine, where the science is applied with people, but it's not just science. That's how it can get off on a whole tangent of, well, you must eat fruit and carbohydrate, and because the food manufacturers have influenced the science. I'm afraid that's what's happened.
Yeah, that's what happened. It's like in Indonesia too. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
And I hope we can correct this. We're going to make this clear tonight about. I don't want to judge food industry or anything. Just I want to. We just say it. We're going to debunk all keto myths. Why people are afraid with keto? Because before we teach them how to do keto, they must feel fine that keto is normal. The basic principle that I want to teach people is you have to know why you want to be ketosis. Why ketosis must be at the bottom before you do anything. If you don't know what is ketosis, you always going to confuse in the future when people saying this and saying that. I want to make them understand that ketone is just a way of the brain recognize its fuel tank. So I always ask people, what is your fuel tank? If you are a biological engine, let's say that our body is a biological engine, where you put your fuel, where you put your fuel tank? Is it in your glycogen, your blood glucose, or your body fat? No matter how thin you are, what are your body fat? Are you saying that I'm using glucose? My fuel tank is glucose. Oh, good. You have 500 milligrams of glucose every day? No, you'll be on the hospital if you have that kind of glucose. No. So let's make a deal first. What is your fuel tank? Please think about it. Oh, okay, my body fat. Okay, if you agree that your fuel tank is body fat as a biological engine, so where is the most important part as the motor, as the engine that drives this biological system? What is it? Is it your big arm? Is it your legs? Is it your heart? No, everything is controlled in here. What is it? Your brain. No matter how strong you are, if you get stroke, you just lay in bed. That's simple. This is the most important one. If you recognize if you see from engineering view that the biological system is run from here, the important organ from human is the brain. What makes it so funny? Why there is a blood-brain barrier? If this is also important, why there is a blood-brain barrier? Why it makes the fat cannot cross? if you believe that your tank, your biological system tank, is body fat, right? So if the brain now recognize its own body fat, I mean can access its own fuel tank through a process called ketosis, what's wrong with it? Isn't it supposed to be the natural way? Because the motor needs constant energy. Everything can use fat directly. Everything can use fat directly, especially with mitochondriated cells, right?
Yes.
But even our brain cells have mitochondria, they cannot access fat directly. That's why the basic center of many doctors think that brain need glucose. That's it.
Yeah.
Period. You need glucose for the brain. Without glucose, you get hypoglycemic, then neuroglycopenic. I say that from the ancestral perspective, we already vanished as a human if in the wild we must supply ourselves with glucose every time just to avoid neuroglycopenia. It's just funny. It doesn't make sense from the timeline, from the human timeline in the evolution perspective. If we always have to start our day with breakfast and add carbs just to fuel, just to give glycogen level for us to stand to sustain the time, to working through the time using our physical activity, using skeletal muscle, using glucose, that just not make sense. So why do you have your body fat as a fuel tank if your real engine, the motor, cannot access it?
Yes, I agree totally. Another myth is that the keto diet is bad for the heart. And there was a very important paper. Now I've known about this for a while by talking to people, but a very important paper published in December of last year where the heart muscle was given different types of fuels. So you put heart muscle, you give it glucose or ketones or fatty acids, the fats.
Yeah.
Which one does the heart suck up first to use for energy? It's the fatty acids. The fatty acids.
The fatty acids. Yeah.
Well, fatty acids and ketones, because fat gives you more energy, and glucose is the last thing your heart muscle uses. So the fat, actually fatty acids and fat carries more energy per gram.
Exactly.
It's a better fuel source. Not even just theoretically, practically speaking, your heart needs energy all day long, and so it wants fat, not glucose, not sugar. And yet most heart doctors don't know this. Again, we don't teach doctors about this.
Yes, because they see that if someone got a heart attack, the one thing you want to do is give insulin, glucose, and some electrolytes, something like that. So it think that the heart needs glucose to work, but no. I see from the biological system, when you eat carbs and the glucose rise, insulin works as an urgent. Glucose is an urgency to get lower. The body doesn't like hyperglycemia. That's why we have pancreas as a system to never allow hyperglycemia happen.
Right.
No matter how much carbs you eat, when you're still healthy, you don't have to run, you don't have to do many activity after you eat carbs. When you're still healthy, the body will lower it itself postprandially. Nothing to do, because it is an urgent thing to do. It is an urgent thing to do to make the blood glucose lower. So when people, I eat this carb, so I can save it to work later. No, you can't. 3 to 4 hours from now, your blood glucose will get normalized, and you other than brain, you're going to use fat again. It's the basic of fasting and feeding cycle. That's simple. But everyone still think that no, we need glucose. No, when you still eat glucose, you are glycocentric. I call it. I have my own phrase. I call it, if people still eat carbs, they are glycocentric. They depends on the glycogen level, especially in the liver. But if you don't eat carbs anymore, then you become lipocentric, which is your body relies on your lipid storage for everything, for making glucose, for run the glucose factory. The ATP needed to make gluconeogenesis. Your body runs almost on everything. With lipid, when you don't eat carbs anymore, you become lipocentric. You become endocentrically capable of making your own homeostasis. You are able to pull. You don't have to push anymore. The ability to pull is the thing that we want to get from ketosis. When you have the ability to pull, when you have the ability to recognize your own body fat, your brain is like saying, Eureka! I see everything now. I see all the fuel tank. Where am I? All this time, why can I see it? You cannot see it because you're still using glucose. When you see ketone, it's like from the neurological perspective, your stress system from endocrinology, we could talk about your stress system to pull fat. We pull fat with our stress system, with sympathetic nervous system. It's become lighter. It's like when we drive a car, the gas getting lighter. Perhaps everyone who still eat carbs know what it feels when they skip their meal. They feel cranky, anxious. You see the hyperactivation of stress system. That's it. Because the stress system is still hard to pull because there is lots of demand that still have a gap, especially the brain still need more glucose. That's why the stress system working so hard when you're not in ketosis and skipping your meal, or you have too many calorie restriction. You can even break down your own muscle because the stress system is so hyperactive. But once you are on ketosis, you'll see that you feel very relaxed at relieving those fat from your body fat. The stress system become the gas, the pedal gas in your car is lighter. You don't have to use higher RPMs, higher sympathetic tone to release the body fat. That's how the physiology works. It's from my point of view, because I learned everything about physiology, I see everything becomes very clear. What happens when you're ketosis, you're getting more relaxed in relieving your own body fat, in accessing your own body fat. Not like before when you still eat carbs, it's so hard to lose your fat. Because what? Because it's too stressed for you to release it. Can you see that, Eric?
Yes.
From the
I like
physiology perspective?
Yes, I like that a lot. I think it's an accurate description. And when you were talking, it made me think of the mammal. I don't know if you're familiar with these hibernating bears.
Yes, I know.
You've learned about them. So that this way the system works together, and so these animals will go to sleep for 3 months and not eat anything. They won't even defecate. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
So the bear, at a certain time of year, when the fruit and the berries show up on the bushes, they start eating voraciously. For the most of the year, they eat salmon, a low carb sort of lifestyle. But the bear, these are big animals. They start eating berries and fruits and nuts, and they have to put on all of this energy because they're going to be asleep for 3 months, not eating anything. So that's where carbs come in. When you eat carbs and fruit and bread and all this, you can't stop eating it, and you want to eat more because you're storing your fat for the hibernation. So it's normal to feel like I can't stop eating these carbs because you're storing fat for when you're going to be sleeping for we don't sleep for 3 months as humans. So I like using the hibernating bear as an example of how things work. But if you're having berries every day, the bread, pasta, rice, all these things, you're just going to be storing it as fat. And as you mentioned, you can't get to that fat. Your body doesn't know that it's there.
That is so simple. That is the physiology is so simple. And when you see the world biome, you must learn about a little about what is our world. Our world is like a biome with so many different vegetation. And even in your place you have 4 seasons, right? We have 2 seasons. We are in the you in America, in North Carolina, you have 4 seasons, right? You have winter and there. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm on the tropical country, you're in the 4 season country, and so many vegetation in the world, but human beings are the same system, the same biological system. So what makes the difference between the world biome? What is it? It's a soil. I have a fertile soil, you don't. You cannot grow easily there, I can grow easily here. But you are human, I'm human. Your history, your ancestral history doesn't allow you to eat easily from the ground because it's not fertile. Not to mention like the savanna, like many vegetation, even in Eskimos. Can we human live all over the world? Yes. So what cannot follow us? What we cannot depend on? We must not depend on how the soil are. Because of what? Because you cannot rely from plants. If you are a human and you are able to walk all over the earth, you cannot depend on land to survive. You have to depend on anything that walks on the land because it's always available on many vegetation, on many biomes. But to get something specific from plants, especially like crops, which must be a fertile soil. How many of us as human can access it? Except, of course, like in the tropical, like us. From your ancestral perspective, in the winter you eat bread. I don't think it doesn't make sense from ancestral. Where do you get that bread? Look at the ground. It's snowy. How do you get that? From ancestral perspective, you're not supposed to eat that. You're supposed to eat anything that walk over the snow, because nothing's grow.
Well, we've grown so far from that thinking, right? Food comes in a box. I think most children, unless you fish yourself and catch fish, we go to the store and we see the fish. It just appears. We don't know how it gets there.
I don't know.
But I like you have a way of thinking the big picture.
Yeah, I always see the big picture. I want to make sure that if my son going to do this for the rest of his life, especially he is 12 years old now and he's not eating any carbs, even he's using like you from total carbs. He doesn't get any plant fiber since he was born, and he is fine.
Yeah.
Because why I dare to do that? Why I'm not afraid to going sideways, just like you say. Because why Theo is understand many things. Because before I want to do it to my son, I must really understand about human physiology first. You can test me all about it, because you cannot just try your son with some fat diet. No, I'm not starting from keto. I'm starting from human physiology. I make sure that ketone is normal. It's just only the way of the brain recognize the body fat. It's just only the way to make our body as a fat burning mode. That's it. Nothing more.
Your story, your invitation to bring the experts to Jakarta influenced me greatly. In fact, I tell the story of your looking into the keto myelin brain connection at meetings, and I put in that story into our first master class that we're teaching. So when people take our class, they're going to be learning about you and your story. So thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad to give you new perspective of how ketosis works. I'm glad to speak because I know you have been around keto for 20 years, and I'm just about 12 years like my son, but perhaps I learn more because I'm a dad. Because I'm doing it for a dad, not for a patient.
Yeah.
I hope as an engineer I can give some perspective to the keto world. I'm not starting from keto. I'm starting from myelin, but I hope my insight can also give enlightenment to the keto world to not worry about the attack everywhere, because I know how to defeat them. I know how to stop from the physiology base. Even if any professor want to debate with me about, he want to say about you need carbs or you don't ketosis is dangerous or you need carbs. Okay, bring it on. Everyone that can say carbs is essential, I'm ready to dare to have a debate, a scientific debate with them.
Me too.
Yeah. I hope I'm glad we together we can find some way to make people not to scare anymore, not to scare in everything. Like I don't know in the US how the pressure there with keto, how the media give pressure of giving false news, and any doctor say that it's dangerous and it's getting blow up, because in here it's like that.
Yeah.
Doctors just saying, it's dangerous. Even a plant-based doctor saying that it's dangerous, then everyone suddenly blowing things up. Look, it's dangerous. So for the common people who doesn't understand keto, I'm scared. I don't want to try it. I don't even want to try it because of the news.
Right. Yeah.
Because
so
of the fake news.
In the U.S., keto is becoming more accepted. I've seen a change, especially in the last few years. The information is getting out. There are companies that are making products that have a keto version to them. Not that I think you should eat those or drink them, but it means that the companies don't generally change unless a lot of people will buy their products. So the keto is more popular and it's getting more accepted by more and more people, but still in the media, you know how media works. You have to understand, as long as there's one controversy, one person says it, they will include it. So there will always be someone that will say keto is dangerous because they don't know. And the media wants the controversy because that's what sells. So I've worked hard to keep keto out of the media, because it's not news, it's science. So
exactly.
There will be, in fact, I have we have a saying, a thorn in my side, and there's a little thorn in my paw about the vegetarian people think you can't eat meat. It's bad for you, and they bring it into the global warming climate thing, and it's just not true. But they will be the ones in the media. They will be the ones saying. So you want to make sure that your expert is not biased in either direction. I mean, I think you can eat plants. I think you can eat meat and animals. I'm an expert. I'm a scientist. But if your expert says you can't eat certain types of foods, they're not really scientists. They're promoters of a diet or of a product. And you're right that the media contributes to the confusion and the basic eating real food is close to nature, and I see as close to God made it. Is really it really can be that simple.
Yeah, that's simple, very simple. What? So I always challenge people like this. You want to know how to be keto? you don't want to learn how to do keto, but you want to do keto, it's easy. Go to the wild and don't bring anything. Everything that you do in the wild, everything that you eat, when you're going to eat, what you're going to eat, it's going to make you keto. If you go into the wild without bringing anything, that's simple. You will find how ketosis works in the wild. Without, how do I supposed to do it? I don't know. What do I do when you wake up? I don't know. Perhaps you can open your refrigerator in the wild. I don't have refrigerator in the wild. Yeah. So I don't know. Just walk, find your food. You cannot stay, right? You cannot call somebody to deliver food, right? Yes. So go walk. If I walk without eating,
when you're hungry enough, you'll have to kill something to eat it.
Exactly.
And so often you have to be hungry enough to chase something and find it. I was just very surprised to learn that these big animals, the lions in Africa, I've seen them in the zoo and I see them out in the wild. They eat once a week. A lion, this big animal, it only eats once a week. But when you think about it, it's very difficult to find food. They have to go chase the animals and then they eat a lot of meat when they do eat once a week. But it gives me reassurance when someone comes to me and says, "Well, I'm not hungry. I only eat once a day," and I say, "Look, you're not going to lose all your muscle. Look at a lion or a wolf." So all of this concern. A lot of it's from media. A lot of it's from companies wanting to sell you products.
They said that if you don't eat carbs, you're going to lose your muscle. You're going to break down your muscle tissue for glucose because you're running out of glycogen. Oh my God! Why can't everyone learn the basic physiology? Why everyone so simply say that you don't eat carbs, you lose your muscle? The basic principle is ketosis. Why we must go to ketosis if you want to reduce our caloric, if we want to do calorie restrictions? Why ketosis is important? The most important thing is muscle sparing. That's how ketosis works. Because of ketosis, your glucose level, the need of glucose, getting lower. The need of breaking down the muscle getting lower. That's why ketosis will spare your muscle.
Yes.
If you compare it, okay.
Yeah, I was going to agree with you that and to explain that there's a lot of understanding in science and physiology from a different metabolic state. So once you turn to ketosis, you're using glucose much less. You don't have the same muscle wasting. It's muscle sparing, protein sparing, and yet even scientists don't know the new information about it. My first attempt is to make this masterclass, the Keto Made Simple Masterclass, which anyone can take around the world. And in this class, I talk about the physiology. And I'm afraid a lot of people have to learn it like you. You're not a doctor, but you learn physiology. It's not difficult. It's almost like that gas and brake on a car.
Brake,
I would urge you, not you personally, but anyone, I would urge anyone to learn the simple physiology that we live by. And one way to learn is by looking at our Keto Made Simple Masterclass that we just launched.
I will recommend it.
Yeah. So in fact, I want to make that available worldwide. And my business partner is in South Africa and we have a platform that people can go to and take the class for a small charge just to keep the company going and to get the classes there. And then that End Your Carb Confusion book is again a different way to teach it. The book is not all about physiology though. It's much simpler. So we target different levels of understanding and then different methods of teaching. Some people want to watch videos like in the masterclass. Some people want to read books like the End Your Carb Confusion book. And we just need more and more teaching, don't we?
Yeah. They need your class. I mean, you really have to end all this confusion. I really count on you, Eric. You have to really end all the
With your
war
help.
in all of the world. Yeah, I hope. I'm still trying my own way in Indonesia. I'm still together. I still trying to enlighten more and more doctors. I got I have a group of doctors. We have, yeah, thanks God, a lot of doctors get enlightened. It's just I'm still trying gradually to move toward the doctors first, because if I start from the common people, sometimes they get confused. But if I can make a doctor understand about keto, it will be easier for me to make the doctor tell the patient, because without any background of doctors with me, I cannot tell patient what to do. I must make a justification first. I must explain physiology. It's too much of a waste time. That's why I'm investing my time in enlightening more doctors, training, explaining physiology to doctors. So because they have the capability to learn faster than the common people. This is what I'm doing now in Indonesia. I'm getting more doctors, and some of the doctors also going to join your master class. I hope they have the after they have the code. And then, yeah, we
Yes,
all
so
doing this together, Eric.
I want to make the masterclass available to any doctor that you approve, and just to give the information to as many people as we can. That it'd be my pleasure to have that happen.
Thank you so much, Eric.
Have we handled most of the myths?
That is quite a very interesting discussion between two of you.
Sorry, Mina. We got too excited. Sorry, come on, Mina.
Yeah, that is okay. Very, very exciting. That has to be settled until the end. Leave out any, no hanging leftover, something like that has to be completed. Very interesting. But listening to your discussion, two of you, seems like doing keto is very easy. Is there any specific requirement before someone is say like qualified to do keto, or
So
is it everyone can do it? Is there any age restriction, like for elderly?
Yeah, no, I think a keto, so a well-formulated keto diet, meaning you're eating real foods. So you have to make sure you're doing it correctly. It's just healthy eating for anyone. I think any age is fine. If you're eating foods if you define keto as drinking vinegar and all that, then no, that's not right for people. So the only time I worry someone starts keto is if they're on medications. A doctor can prescribe medications for a problem, and the medications can become too strong. So I worry, I think if someone has diabetes or high blood pressure and they're on medicine, then they need to be careful. It's not that the diet is bad, it's that the medicines can become too strong. So you need to be working with a doctor, monitoring these conditions. But I think eating real food is healthy for anyone, any age. Yeah.
Any age and any gender.
Any gender, yes. Male, female, trans.
Because there are myths. There are growing myths that keto will stop women's menstruation earlier and interfere women reproductive development. So it's not recommended for teenage girl. Those kind of myths.
No, so again, doing keto correctly, a properly formulated keto diet is okay, is healthy for women. It's healthy for young women, older women. In fact, I've seen a keto diet reverse infertility. So a keto diet can actually help some women get pregnant.
Wow.
We have many baby ketos.
Okay, no worry about the gender.
We have many keto babies.
Yeah. How about
especially there's okay.
How about the yeah. Go ahead, Mastio.
Okay. So they are worried in our group. They are worried if we don't eat carbs, you cannot get a menstrual cycle or you get early menopause. I think no. You don't need carbs to get menstrual. You don't need carbs to get pregnant. You don't need carbs.
Right.
Because if something needs carbs just for a biological process, it means the carbs become essential. So that's why in the first place, you must understand why ketosis. So when someone have a problem, even I already share on our group, I already share how keto, that the paper that Eric wrote about, and with PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. Eric wrote once about how it is stabilize the FH, LSH hormones, and I already read the paper. So nothing wrong with keto. It will help, and nothing. It doesn't eat carb, doesn't make you infertile, doesn't make you, even it balance your hormone. Alex wrote about that. You have the papers. I don't know what I forgot.
Yes, we have published papers on PCOS, on fatty liver. Fatty liver has become a big problem in the U.S., and it's not the fat in the food that causes fatty liver; it's the carbs. And doctors mess that up.
They think it's the fat. The one is going to make fatty liver. Oh my God.
So, I can't think of. There are some medical conditions.
I think it's
you want to be supervised with. Let's say, I've been using this in a medical clinic at a university for 15 years for clinical illness. So I've treated people who have heart failure, who have liver failure, they have kidney failure, they're on dialysis. I've treated people who have had heart transplants. And so these conditions require special knowledge, and you need a doctor to help you with those. So if you have a medical condition, like anything, you want to make sure you're doing this with your doctor. But otherwise, this is just healthy eating. Gives you all the nutrition you need. And I mean, a bonus for me is I'm not hungry. Most of the day, I'm not worried about where my next meal is coming from and where am I going. It frees you from that.
Yeah. Doing calorie restriction must be done unconsciously. Your body must allow you to do calorie restriction. You don't have to push yourself in hunger. I count my calories. I eat only 1,000 calories because I want to get thinner. No, it doesn't work like that. It has to go nature. You have to do a diet or a way of life or way of eating that allows your body to restrict unconsciously. You feel fine. You're not stressed out when you don't eat. That's how fat loss works and get you healthy. Not stressed out, not losing muscle. That's the basic ingredients of calorie restrictions. Let your body allow it unconsciously.
Yes, and then when I do have, say, a holiday get together with family, I eat bread or something like that. I'll be hungry for the next week. For the next week, I get hungry again. So, but once you get away from that, the hunger goes away, which is if you've never felt that, you have to try keto to see that it's the carbohydrates that make you hungry, and sometimes really we have a term called hangry. Hangry means you're angry.
Hungry, hungry, angry.
Mina, do we have other questions?
Speaking. Yeah. One last one about the myth. Speaking about the thin people, there are myths saying that keto is not suitable for the thin one because they don't have sufficient fat to burn from inside for their own. What do you say about that?
Oh no, that it's okay for thin people too. Yes. So even though you look at someone and they look skinny, there is fat there. In fact, there's more fat than sugar store, the glycogen, as Tio said, the glycogen store. So that's not correct. So, and remember, all a keto diet does, you burn what you eat for fuel. So if you don't eat carbs, you don't burn carbs. So all a keto diet allows you to eat and use fat for the fuel and some protein too. But protein mainly goes to our bodies to repair the protein in our body.
The building block.
Yeah. So no, that's okay.
It's okay, Mina. Nothing wrong with skinny people, underweight people. They
But
just
still any addition?
doesn't have.
Okay.
Just like Eric said, the human always keep their fuel tank at a minimal level. Even if you try hard to lose the weight, your body still want to have fuel tank for survival. That's the basic biology.
Reserve.
They're going to rebound. Yeah, during keto, it's like this. If you see how people doing keto, you have a phase when you get stall and rebound. Because of what? Because of the surviving mechanism. You're not always going to burn fat until you don't have fat anymore. No, you die if you do that. Your body have a survival mechanism. It holds some fat, even though you want more fat. No, you cannot do that like that. Even it's very hard to get below 10% of body fat. It's very hard. Even for professional bodybuilders, they need some trick to do that. But on a lifestyle basis, no, you cannot get easily in lower than 10% of body fat because it's the survival mechanism. You need fat for everything, and you don't have to worry if I lose fat until I disappear. No, you don't. You're not going to disappear because you're losing fat all along if you're not in carb. No, there will be a time when your body holds its fat when it is necessary, because body fat is like a survival organ. It's just doesn't make sense if the body let you take away all the fat and burn it away. No, if we don't eat carbs, it's easy for us to maintain weight. We don't get the weight fluctuated like, oh, I ate too many carbs, I start to cutting it, I eat carbs again. But any diet have a yo-yo diet. But if you stay not eating carbs, it's going to be easy. Although you stall, but you're going to still losing with your target. But you just need to be patient. You don't have to rush anything. Make it a lifestyle. Your body know when to preserve the fat because you still need it. Although you still think I'm still fat, but your body is trying to keep the homeostasis correctly. You don't want to lose fat too fast. If you're losing fat too fast, there's something wrong. There's something wrong with the insulin level, perhaps. There's something wrong with your pancreas, perhaps. Too much lipolysis. You must check it. It's not normal. So just do it as a lifestyle. Eat real food. Your body knows when to start the fat burning, when to hold its fat. The body has its own homeostasis. We just try to play with it, but to make it sustainable, make keto as a lifestyle. Not think it like, don't get food anxiety. Just eat real food, and it's a lifestyle. You do everything unconsciously. I lose weight unconsciously. I'm not weighing my weight all the time. Don't stress yourself with keto. It's a lifestyle. Make it a lifestyle. Make it a permanent lifestyle. Doing keto is supposed to be happy, because I know Eric won't doing for 20 years if he's not happy with keto, right?
I don't
You
have.
feel great with keto.
I wouldn't tolerate that. Yeah. Now I see some questions on the side here in English. I can't read the Indonesian, but yes, keto is good for blood pressure, for high blood pressure. So if you're on blood pressure medicines, the blood pressure can come down, and you need to monitor it. But I take away medicines for high blood pressure as the weight comes down. I take away medicines for diabetes. We can reverse those two conditions with the keto diet.
Okay, Mina, you have any question that really just ran out
Okay.
into the
Yeah.
very important questions that
No,
we need to clear up?
We we are very interesting with the way of Eric teaching. One of the hallmarks of your teaching is that your method is easy to follow and easy to sustain. No tracking, no counting macros, and no apps. You're able to take someone from where they are
No
now
apps.
to where they want to be in 4 easy steps. Yeah.
Right.
What are the key points actually to ensure one is doing keto the right way?
Yes, we are trying to get rid of the confusion that so many people have about keto, and giving the just the information that you need to get started and to maintain it. With all due respect, Mastio, not everyone cares about physiology.
Yeah, exactly.
Not everyone wants to know. I see the eyes in my clinic glaze. They don't tell me that, doctor. Just
I don't
tell me.
understand that. I know.
So we have many different ways of teaching, but it really comes down to one list of food, and it is very flexible. You choose what you like from the food. You don't have to use an app or make it difficult. And that's our kind of signature approach. Among all of the noise, it's trying to make it really simple for people.
That's my homework. I cannot still make it simple because I always think physiologically. I always try to explain physiologically. I don't know. I think you even simpler than me in explaining to common people. Even my own members say that I'm like an alien. I'm like nobody understand what I'm saying except for the doctors, of course. That's why I need people like Mina and many of my members to make my work become more simpler in their own way. I don't know how to I'm still learning how to simplify the physiological knowledge that I have. I don't know how, but I will learn by doing. But I think Eric's have a simpler way in making people doing keto, and in his simpler food list and everything. Perhaps it's more simple. If you ask me, perhaps I'm still learning how to simplify things, but I think Eric's masterclass will help in simplify everything, ending the cup confusion, simplified it.
Remember, to make a car, you need some wheels, an axle, and a body, and then you can put lots of different things on it. So I give you the basics of how you keto, and then you can do it in any way you want.
Yeah, that's what everyone needs. A simple thing to do with how to do keto easily, because like not like I want Eric's teaching is like for a no-brainer. Just tell me how to do it. I want to do it. Just make me doing keto. I hope everyone will try the Eric's masterclass, because I think he know how to simplify things, and even for no-brainer. I'm sorry, or even for everything that I just want to tell me what to do and make a simple understanding, because you know me, Eric. If you see how I talk, perhaps not many common people will understand what I say. I know you understand, but not many will understand what I'm saying. That's why I always talk in the doctors group instead of the common group, because I don't know. I'm from an engineering, but I still cannot find a way to simplify things because I think too complex.
Well, so because my job depends upon having people be successful, all I do is help people lose weight in a clinic, and it's in an insurance pay sort of clinic with all sorts of socioeconomic levels. I treat rich people, poor people. I teach people who want to cook, who don't want to cook. People who have their own chefs, people who want to eat at McDonald's. All they do is they go to a fast food place. I teach all of these different people. So I've learned to have to be very practical and very simple in the teaching, and so that there is all of this different flexibility. But remember, if what I did didn't work, I wouldn't have a job, because people come to me and they pay me for or the insurance company pays me. So that makes you very like an engineer. If you can't build a bridge, you don't have a job, right? You have no business. So if my method didn't work, I would have no business, and I wouldn't have a job.
You already keep your job for how many years? That means it's working.
20 years. So but that's important when you're reading the internet, when you're searching for information. If the person or company you're learning from does not have that sort of experience, you're not going to know if it's going to work or not. So we're trying to keep it as simple and available.
It's a big question then.
Say that again.
That will be a big question mark. The source that you are looking for is not that long, right?
Right.
The existence.
Yeah.
And it's homework for Mastio to how to make it to learn from you how to make it simple and easy. And you're saying about the wheel and the axis of the car. Yeah, the wheel and the axis of the car. Are you saying that it is the foundation? The most important thing for you is actually to get the foundation correct for everyone to do keto, right?
Yes. So you won't be distracted by something that's not important. Yes. It's like learning.
That's true.
Mathematics.
So everyone. Yeah.
Well, I think you're coming in and out a little bit. Excellent. Well, were there any other questions? The method is safe. I want to help you understand that there's a lot of experience with keto. Don't worry about it. It's safe. It's effective. And I think you have an excellent teacher in Mas Tio.
Thank you, Eric.
Yeah. with his homework ongoing, that how to make it simple every day and every day.
I'm doing my own talk show. I'm interviewing many doctors twice a week, because I want to show people that even doctors are doing keto. That's why if you see my Instagram, if you see my Facebook post, I always post an interview with the doctors, with many different specialty of doctors. I say that these doctors are enlightened. These doctors start to feel, to see how keto works. Even it is for them at the beginning, but I hope with more doctors joining our community in ketofastosis, I hope that it builds trust to people, that some doctor will say keto is bad, but other doctor that have done it trust me, they say it's good. So
Yes.
perhaps if that doctor say keto is bad, have he or she even done it before, or just
Right.
seeing from his perspective or his knowledge basis? Usually, I urge doctors to, before you have any saying about keto or speculations or opinion, try it first for any doctor for 1 to 3 months. Then you can write anything about keto after you try it, but don't say anything about it before you don't even try it, because you know it's true when you have done it, not before you done it. Am I right, Eric?
Yes, and many doctors need to have their own experience before they teach it, because we don't get taught this in training. So I find a lot of doctors will start learning by learning on themselves first. That's just the way. Again, medicine is we follow other doctors, not all of the research papers. We need people to read the papers and then teach. Not so, but that's what I see here. The doctors try it themselves, and then it works, and then they look at the research. There's a lot of research, and then they start using it in their patients. Which I wish that didn't have to be true, because it's not true with a drug. If someone has a high blood pressure drug, they don't test it on themselves first. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
They just take it as truth that this drug works. Well, right, because they give the drug and it gets rid of the infection. So doctors, you don't have to do this yourself. You don't have to do this yourself first. You can teach it. There's a lot of science behind it. You don't have to do it themselves. That's the other interesting thing is a doctor might think, well, gosh, if I teach a diet, I have to be following it myself. No, you don't. You don't have to be doing this yourself to teach it. So a lot of weird, strange things that I wish medical schools would teach us, but they're not. I don't know that they ever will, but we can teach the doctors. I'm glad that you're doing that show with doctors. That's fantastic. It's a great idea.
Yeah. I'm hoping I can let more and more people. I hope the doctors will also enlighten more and more doctors, because, like you said, doctors follow doctors. So I'm still trying to enlighten more doctors. I'm guiding them to do this keto lifestyle, and when they succeed, they can enlighten the other doctors or bring them. So more doctors means more easy to spread the keto lifestyle. We need to embrace all doctors. Although most common people already done it first, they done it for years. My plan is to embrace more Indonesian doctors. To get more doctors enlightened means more no more objection, less objections in the future, because the doctor must know how keto from the physiological level and prove it for themselves. Try it. Don't say it's bad before you try it first, because it's not going to fair. It's not fair if you say something bad about keto with your understanding, and he's not update in the on the new science, but he's still saying that no, don't do keto to his. Lots of doctors in Indonesia even say that to their patient, that like, don't do keto, it's dangerous. The doctor that say that doesn't even do keto, just hear that keto bad from the media and everything.
Yeah, so
That's
happy
what happened in Indonesia.
I'm happy to say that in the U.S. that's changing. There's an awareness. The doctors don't push against. There's so many people that are doing it, and in the pop culture now that at least from what I'm hearing, the doctors aren't saying no, don't anymore, and
thank
because
God.
it's so hard to ignore the benefits that happen, but it has taken time. It's taken years for this change to happen. So I'm hopeful that you can teach the doctors there too.
I want to change Indonesia like US. That's my plan. I want to teach more doctors, do discussion with them, all physiology, all the knowledge they have, they can ask me. I'm open to be asked for all doctors, all academic, all even the professor. I'm not afraid. Just ask me the physiology. I will explain as long as you give me the chance to explain. I always say that. I even spread my phone number to everyone. Just ask me the physiology. If you say anything bad, just ask me. I will explain what you think is bad. I will explain the physiology first. Then you can decide is it bad or no. I even done that. Don't be afraid with me. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an engineer. Why are you so afraid to discuss with me? You have the medical basis. Just talk. Let's talk physiology.
Well, it's threatening. It's threatening. You're threatening my medication. I've been, my training.
Yeah, that's a problem.
I think some doctors that I meet do feel threatened. That we're taught, like most professionals, that we're taught that we know everything, or that if we don't know it, it's not important, or if we don't know it, it must be bad. I think the younger doctors now are a good target because they're open to new ideas and things that really work. I've been kind of saddened by the doctors who are my age. I'm 60 years old. Doctors my age, we are used to doing things that don't work. We're used to managing conditions that don't get better. Managing diabetes, not fixing it. But the younger doctors, they want things that really work. So I'm encouraged by the younger, the new generation of doctors. They don't want to just do what we old guys did.
We have to make a change.
Yeah.
Okay,
last question coming in.
Emily.
Is it okay to do fasting with low carb? Last question just coming in texting.
Like intermittent fasting.
Is it okay to do low carbs with fasting with low carbs?
Yes.
Yeah.
And ideally, it happens automatically. So I don't like the idea of, and it's all, I hear people doing this today. Well, I'm only eating in this 2-hour window of time. And then I ask, well, are you hungry the other time? Oh yeah, I'm really hungry the other time. Well, no, that's not right.
No, that's not right.
That's not right.
If you're hungry, you're not able.
That tells me you're eating carbohydrates if you're hungry at other times. So I think the fasting should come naturally from within, and then it's okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Eric, people think that fasting and low carb is too catabolic. Is it true? Is it losing muscle because of fasting and catabolic? People say that if you low carb, you don't have to fast. No, right?
Right.
No, because it's the muscle preservation. Yeah. People think that what happened is people think that keto, if you do keto, you lose fat. That means you are on the catabolic state. That means if you do keto, you cannot get menstruated, which need anabolic. You cannot get pregnant. You cannot get anything that children cannot grow because they think keto is catabolic state. No, keto is just fat burning mode. That so many people doesn't understand the physiology, but they judge that keto is just too catabolic, especially when you add it with intermittent fasting. No, intermittent fasting, actually, the reasoning of ketosis makes sense when you combine with fasting. Why? Because in the past, you must fast because you don't have food. And in order to survive, that's why ketone makes sense. So if someone thinks that low carb or keto doesn't do great with fasting because it becomes too catabolic, oh my God. From the physiology point of view, what do you think?
Yeah, it's separate. So when Jeff Volek, Volek, researcher at Ohio State, shocked the world, really, in the weight loss world, because he showed in many different papers that you can gain muscle mass while you're losing fat mass.
Exactly.
So it's separated. So, but for so many years, the researchers and doctors thought they had to go together. That catabolic, you lose fat, you lose muscle. No, if you're eating muscles, eating muscle of other animals, you're getting protein, you can lose the fat and gain muscle. And
exactly.
It shocked the world, and even a lot of the world never heard it.
But many nutritionists or dietitians still think like that, and they make people afraid that don't do keto because you cannot grow your muscle, especially when you add fasting. No.
Yes.
Even
I've heard a useful way to teach this is when you have a baby growing inside a mother, so that the baby hormonally, the baby will grow. It really doesn't. The mother doesn't have to eat. Really, the baby will grow off the fat on the mother. So it's the hormonal situation. The growth can happen even though the fat is going. Fat is really just the energy source, like you've been saying. And the protein, the growth is totally separate. Well, but in the past, experts have only thought of them going together because they use low-fat diets. So
exactly, because they use low-fat diet. Because if you do too many calories, you don't spare muscle.
So it's important to know that it's not that people were wrong before. It's just they were limited in the view. Again, it's like the driving on the right-hand side of the road, left-hand. If you've only driven on the right-hand side, you're not wrong. It's just you've never learned how to do it the other way.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you are so enlightening today. You justify many things today, Eric. I'm so grateful to you because it needs to be heard from someone. It needs to be heard from a researcher. Eric is a researcher. Eric makes the first research of keto at the beginning when keto have disappeared from the 1920s at the modern era. Eric is one of the researchers that start the research on keto, and everyone follows him to research. But he's the pioneer. So you have you today, for anyone that see this video, you have learned, you hear yourself from a researcher, the first pioneer researcher in the modern era. That starting making papers, learning about ketos. If you still don't believe this guy, I don't know what to say.
Our first paper was published in 2002. And I think the reality is time flies, that it doesn't seem that long ago. But on the other hand, all of the negative things I've heard today I've heard 20 years ago, and they haven't come true. So, So I guess I lose sight of the fact that there's so much evidence now. It's automatic to me. It's like learning a skill. It's automatic. And thank you for the feedback and the nice comment. I mean, I think the doctors who did this before are the pioneers. My role was really to formalize what these doctors were doing into the research and to publish those.
Into the research.
But there are a lot of people who don't value what those other doctors were doing. They value the research today. And even now, because not all researchers agree, there's always controversy in the media and all, But thank you for for spreading the word, the science as well.
Yeah, you're the one that many people. I think you are the one that many people in the keto world with that today we have so many a keto artist, like they use like YouTubes. They are doctors, but they more into not researchers, but they teach keto. Perhaps you hear they get more preferred by common people to search for the knowledge of keto, because they give they have so many YouTubes, your money, but I just want the world of keto people, especially in Indonesia, to know the one that we must look for is the one that have researched it, like Eric's. The one on YouTube doesn't make research, and they don't make paper. They just teach you with the experience. But this guy, oh my God, you should search for papers with Eric's name. He had many of it. Especially, he's the one that coined it. There is no essential carbs.
Well, I think we need all sorts of different teachers, and I'm excited to see more and more people teach it. But remember, if you're learning from someone and they don't have the background and it's not working for you, or you feel sick, don't follow that. You want to. There are all sorts of teachers. You're right, and especially be careful about products that are being sold. They're not part of the program that I teach and that you teach. We want to make sure that you learn it the right way, the foundation. But Dr. Yancey and I at Duke have studied this for 20 years. We've had a research group here. But again, I think the doctors who are using this since 1860. Doctors have used this. They're the real pioneers. But I guess I am in the research world.
Yeah, you are the pioneer in the research world. But that's how the science works. That's why I'm looking up to you, because I'm into research, and I'm always learning from papers and everything. So I trust more in physiology than experience. So before I do anything, I must know the physiology first, or even in dealing with some disease, and I must know the pathophysiology first. That's how I think. I'm not like everyone that that doctor say this from his experience now. That's why I'm glad that we have the conversation, because I want to make ketofastosis is a group that based on science and not just a fact. I want to know that what I'm telling in the group, this physiology and science, it's not what you call it. I don't know what you call it in English. Like a pseudoscience.
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 No, it's not pseudoscience.
They think I'm teaching pseudoscience.
Oh no.
So I'm bringing you to talk with me today to see am I teaching wrong or not? Do you have the same perspective with me or not? That's I'm so grateful that you can we can have this interview today.
Me too.
Because you're really inspiring. I hope after this interview, people will easily accept keto and doesn't afraid anymore. And I hope they will want to start with your class, your master class that you saying earlier, to see how simply keto is. When out there people are, I think I cannot do keto because it's confusing. I'm not used to counting macros. I don't know how to use calories. Now I want you see how Eric makes keto is so simple, how he simplified. Perhaps you can explain how it would be simple in your masterclass. Perhaps you can explain more, Eric.
Yeah. So best place to find the masterclass. I'm just going to put it on the screen right at the end. Let's see, adaptyourlifeacademy.com. Let's see if this will work. See that at the bottom? So the Keto Masterclass is available at adaptyourlifeacademy.com. Does that show up for you?
I haven't seen it. Oh yeah, bottom. Okay. In the the running text.
Yeah. Show up the running.
Yeah.
Text. The
and
running
then,
text.
You can.
And then there's a new book that we published just this last month called End Your Carb Confusion. That's available in Kindle, and you might look for that. Again, it's a simple system. The Keto Made Simple Masterclass is the one at the Adapt Your Life Academy.
Yeah. And about the book, is it on Amazon, like Amazon or
yes.
any market?
Yes, the book is available. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm just showing one more. That's the Keto Made Simple Masterclass, adaptyourlifeacademy.com. Great. Well, that I hope I helped. We just came out with these programs and this, because the science is settled. There's some confusion. We want to simplify things. We've been doing research for 20 years. It took us this long to really kind of come up with what I think is the most valuable resource to do keto simply today. I hope it helps you and your followers as well.
Thank you so much, Eric. You are very enlightening people today. This video, I'm going to share this video everywhere, especially in our group in Indonesia, so they can hear directly from you.
Well, I hope to talk to you soon.
Yeah, me too, Eric. I hope we can do this again.
So many inspiration. Yeah.
I'll say goodbye then.
I believe universe will respond somehow, sometime. Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Eric. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you, Mamina. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone who's watching. I hope it's very helpful to you all and very informative. Thank you.